Yo, what's up? So we're gonna talk about some stuff that Bellular made a video about on WoW Classic. And yeah, we're just gonna go into the video and talk about some of the things that I agree with, disagree with, or maybe just have like a different opinion on in general. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into that video here.
WoW Classic. So, Season of Mastery beta is up, of course. They've just talked about a few things. The major thing that I'd want to talk about is just, I think was it Mr. GM who tweeted it, but basically the XP bonus has went up from 25% to 40%. So
Okay.
clearly it's the sort of thing where they're experimenting with that. They got some initial feedback.
So it's just some changes that they're doing to WoW Classic to, I don't know, draw some more players in, maybe improve the experience for people. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. The people who had like no changes, like got their turn. Now let's try some changes and see how that plays out. I think it makes sense from both a player and like a developer perspective. So I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with doing this kind of approach for a game.
Back that basically it just felt like leveling to 60 in TBC Classic. I think with 40% it will be faster than leveling in TBC Classic. And I think the main reason for that is that this is a 12-month cycle through the phases. So that time spent leveling, to the people who aren't going to be playing at mega hardcore,
Yeah.
if they get 1 or 2 months behind,
Yeah, so like as the cycles release, you don't really want to have to sit back and like level up another character before you can get into the newer content. Maybe some people specifically only wanted to do like Black Temple or something, and that's why they're waiting. So it makes sense that you just speed up the leveling for those people because they're not really interested in that initial aspect of the game. I think it makes sense.
would be a lot more possible to catch up if those phases were spread across 2 years. Far less so with one. So I think that change does make a good degree of sense. I mean, you could definitely say that WoW Classic is so much about the journey and about the leveling, but if the whole experience is being squished down into half the duration, then maybe it does make sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it does seem like it's really there to just get to endgame and experience a
No,
hard.
I don't. I like the idea of something being about the experience, but I don't think that's necessarily the only way people can enjoy the game. Like maybe that's the biggest draw for most people. But if some people just don't necessarily like that and they just like the way that the raids or the dungeons work at endgame, then I don't think that there's necessarily any problem with expediting that process for those players.
Harder version of the end game. It seems like that's the draw. So if that is really the core focus of this, then perhaps being a little bit more generous with the XP makes sense. All depends. It certainly increased my chances of going there, but the ultra fast phases and stuff could also in a way make it less accessible for people who are a little bit time strapped. Not saying that in a way where I'm advocating for WoW Classic Scrub Edition to exist. It's just we all have to make our own personal judgment when it comes to playing a game. I would
True.
have loved to have dived into Classic, but time's a real motherfucker.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think
That's
I was
true.
basically saying last week, it's like I feel like Season of Mastery is, even in its name, it's for private server players who spent years hopping between and optimizing, but now they get an optimization that Blizzard themselves are kind of playing with. So I think that's the audience they've chosen for the Season of Mastery. It'll be interesting to see if they left any ideas on the cutting room floor for a different kind of season, or if that's something they want to try out next time, which is, hey, is there a way we can get a season of, I can't really think of a good positive word for being slow, but a season of slow down.
I don't know. I mean, I think if people like to be slow, that they're not really interested in pushing the high end content. There doesn't really need to be like a season for them. They can enjoy the content at their own pace. I mean, you might be able to make the argument that it's hard for them to like find groups that do that kind of stuff, but I don't think it's really that hard. But you know, I don't know. And I think that people who are doing high end content, like it makes sense to have some kind of like ratings or things like that. So I don't know. I think it's fine. And if you're a slower player having trouble finding a group, yeah, that definitely sucks. I don't know if there's really much of a thing that I don't really know what could really be done about that, to be honest. Even like slowing down the progression, I don't think that would like help because like the people who are going to power level and do everything really fast, they're going to clear it way before the slow people do no matter what. And instead of just going to the next thing, if they're done clearing it, they're just going to stop playing the game, right? So I don't know if that necessarily fixes anything. So that's why I don't think that it's necessarily just a good idea to create like a slower version of the game, I don't know if that would really help anyone.
Mm.
A season of please take your time, everyone. Thank you very much. It'd be interesting to see how that would work.
Yeah, I guess just like what the different modifiers you could actually put onto Classic would be.
Yeah.
Because most do come down to make it a faster, more accessible, but with hard end game content, sort of designed for people who play modern. That seems like the obvious way to try to get a different audience over to Classic. I mean, look, I could talk about Classic Plus forever, so I won't bother this time. I've bored you all with it before.
Actually, I've got one idea.
Oh.
Actually, this is a great idea. This is a terrible idea. Full disclosure, it's awful. World of Warcraft randomizer. Classic
Ooh,
randomizer. The same way. I don't know if the
That's
people
interesting.
Will know what the like Super Mario 64 randomizers or the Kingdom Hearts randomizers or the like the Ocarina of Time
Pokemon,
randomizers and the Wind Waker ones look like, but they just throw everything completely askew. Like, you know, the way you need items to progress, different, completely different place. No idea where. Just any chest, any chest can have any item. So you can open the first chest in the game and get the Master Sword, or you can open the last chest in the game before you get a sword.
And could that basically break? But again, then that's the fun.
Well, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
okay.
It's broken, but there are ways. You know, the randomizer has things that make it possible because they've mapped everything out. They can make it possible. So
Yeah.
imagine
That'd be fun.
I mean, yeah, Project Ascension
That'd be pretty
I think,
cool.
kind of is doing that as well.
Was it?
A little bit.
Project Ascension is primarily the custom class.
I think it is a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
Coming up soon.
I need to look at that. It's one of those tricky things. If you go too much into private server land, you piss off Blizz.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there could be a way we could go into private server land to be like, what works, what's cool, what makes people excited, how could that be applied to the product? Classic Plus, or Classic Season of the Classic Season of the those people's ideas.
Yeah. I'm just thinking of, you know.
Yeah, I don't know how Blizzard could really try out all these different ideas. Like they could do like internal testing. They could do like A/B testing with people. I don't know. That's so hard to do. So I don't really know. They'd have to just go with what the community wants. Maybe if they did like a vote system like RuneScape, I think that'd be pretty good actually. I think that would be a really interesting thing for them to do for a WoW Classic.
You spawn in, you're in, you know, wherever you are in the game, and the mobs around you are all level 45, and you're like, shit, I have to go find level 1 mobs. So you just shift everything completely mentally, including the loot table drops, with some sort of protection, just to make it a bit more interesting. Basically, make it unoptimizable, and then make all of the discovery of where everything is into its own journey. So it's kind of like a new game, but all you've done is shuffle it in an intelligent way.
WoW Classic Alpha Edition. Where you
have survival and stuff.
You have survival and stuff.
Yeah.
You finish up some of those mechanics. They'd probably be shit. That's probably why they cut them. Or maybe they would be cool. You do that, and then you do that crazy original plan they had. You lose XP when you die.
Oh no!
I know they had that in FF11, and I think at one point that was vaguely something they were thinking about for a while, but I'm very sure that was removed early in the process.
Digression things for games rarely work out well, to be honest. So I don't think that's fun.
WoW had not established what World of Warcraft is, so looking at like FF11 quests, things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, people are saying that Ascension is fun. I'm sure it is. It seems like it has cool ideas.
It certainly has cool ideas. I think, as someone pointed out, it's just a shame they hyper monetize in the store.
Oh, do they?
Not gameplay wise, but cosmetic wise and stuff like that. And I think quality of life stuff. I'm not super sure, so don't quote me on that.
How
I think there's a lot of quality of life.
Blizzard. You just wonder how they don't just shut that down as soon as it's monetized. Not that I'm advocating for everything. I'm just curious in general what the situation is.
So my initial thought is just to avoid a Nostalrius, because Nostalrius goes, look at that, you've got a massive conversation, which ultimately ended up well, in giving them Classic, but you look at Ascension, and to kill it, everyone will go, you just destroyed a better version of your game. Give us that officially, because you did that before. So now you know what we want.
Yeah.
and then that would lock them into doing that. So I think they're kind of going, shit, we'll eat the losses here, and just kind of.
It's kind of
Whoops,
lazy,
we
but
spawned an
I agree.
advocacy group.
That's what I think so. Anyway, that's what I imagine. It could be any reason. Maybe too many devs like playing it. I don't know.
All right, well, that was a pretty short video, but basically, I mean, WoW Classic at this point, I feel like it's kind of lost its appeal for a lot of people. I mean, maybe Wrath of the Lich King Classic will bring back a lot of people because for most people, I think that was their favorite expansion. But I have to imagine that, like, every iteration of WoW Classic, you kind of lose more and more people. And at the state that retail is at right now, I don't think there's going to be enough people moving over from retail to another version of Classic for anything really to happen. So I think that if they want Classic to keep going, now I don't know if they do or don't, but if they do, they're going to have to do something by pulling people from those other private servers towards WoW Classic. And to do that, they're obviously going to have to appease them in ways that they enjoy playing the game. So they might have to make those changes to, you know, like Classic Plus or whatever, like some interesting thing they'll have to do in order to pull those people over. Otherwise, they're just going to be in a situation where they don't have enough people to maintain WoW Classic. So it's going to be like shut down or something, right? Like, I don't see a world where WoW Classic goes past Wrath of the Lich King. And even then, I don't see a world where people are playing on like the Perpetual Classic or TBC Classic or Wrath Classic servers after it's kind of finished out. That's how I view it. If you have a different opinion, let me know down in the comments. Do you think WoW will just keep going? Like WoW Classic specifically will just keep going and they'll just keep doing each expansion afterwards, and then there will be enough people on the other servers? Or because I think even with the vanilla servers right now, we're seeing that there's not enough people to even run dungeons or anything, or like not raids at least. So I don't know. Yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments, but that's what I think. I think that there's not really enough people interested in this, that they're pulling from private servers already, and I think that they're not going to be able to pull enough people from retail because of the kind of downturn that it's in right now. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.